Out of nowhere, my fiancé of almost 7 years had an affair with a married man who has a child. I feel like the wife deserves to know the truth, but I'm not sure if it's my place to tell her. As I mentioned, I've been with this girl for nearly 7 years. I'm only 24 years old. We met just before college, and our relationship has been amazing. We took the big step of moving in together a year ago, and things were going great between us. However, in the past month, she started growing distant. I confronted her about it, and she attributed it to work troubles. Then around 2 weeks ago, she started wearing some unusual underwear that she owned before. Silly me. I thought it was cool since she rarely wore that kind. She explained that it was just an experiment to see if she could wear them again after not doing so for a while. He fast forward to Sunday. She was unusually quiet, and she was hugging and kissing me more than usual. I asked her what was wrong, but she couldn't bring herself to say anything. So I started asking questions. Do you still love me? Yes. Do you still want to be with me? I don't know anymore. Then almost jokingly, I asked, did you cheat on me? And she answered, yes. I stayed calm and kept asking the questions. Did you have a close relationship with him? Yes. How many times? 3. Did you have a close relationship with him in our bed? No. Did you have a close relationship with him on this couch? We were sitting on our couch while having this conversation. Yes. Did you use protection? At first, no, but then he used protection. At that moment, I couldn't handle it anymore, but I tried to stay composed. I grabbed my shoes and left. She went to work for the evening. I went straight to my parents' house. I completely broke down there. They assured me that they would help me move out. Within 4 hours, I had moved out of our apartment completely. I left behind the couch, which was pretty much the only piece of furniture left in the house. Since then, I've been slowly trying to come to terms with the whole situation. I never expected this girl to betray me like this. I always told her that if she found someone else, she should break up with me. Like any normal and respectful person would. Instead, she slept with the guy 3 times. She even had a close relationship with me after being with him. I feel nauseous every time I think about it. It's the worst feeling. Right now it's really hard to pinpoint the specific emotions I'm going through. I keep switching between feeling angry, sad, and accepting. I know that in the end, my life will be much better. The most painful part of all this is realizing that the person I trusted, completely someone I would do anything for, is not who I thought they were at all. I thought we shared the same feelings and values. Despite the immense pain this has caused me, I'm grateful for knowing the truth now. It really hurts. It hurts a lot. I know I'll get through this, but damn. There's no other feeling like this. It's been a few days now since everything happened. We haven't had much conversation except for some practical stuff like sorting out the lease and cell phone plan. I've been trying really hard to stay calm, but I feel like I need to express how I'm feeling to the girl. The pressure is building up. What should I do? It's been 5 days since I broke up with my girlfriend. I moved out of the apartment, got tested for TDs, took care of all the practical stuff like bills and rent, and cut ties with her family. I've been spending most of my free time with my closest friends and family, and they've been incredibly supportive. I keep telling myself that there's a good reason this happened. I don't see any point in dwelling on the past. I don't have any regrets about our relationship. The nights alone in my bed have been the hardest. Throughout the day and night, I haven't been sleeping much. And even though I have no appetite, I'm forcing myself to eat. I had a really intense workout yesterday. These last 5 days have been really rough. It's expected after being with someone for almost 7 years, but it sucks that even the smallest things remind me of her. I know this will be the most difficult thing to overcome. I do miss her, but every time I start missing her, I remember what she did to me. Yesterday, something happened that gave me a glimmer of hope amidst all the anger and sadness. I was at a coffee shop and the girl working behind the counter smiled at me. Maybe it was just a friendly smile, but it triggered something in my mind. It made me think, I can move on from you. I will move on from you. This, combined with tying up all the loose ends, is giving me a great sense of hope. I'm going to be okay. I just realized that I didn't address my original question about contacting the wife. And you know what? Right now, I couldn't care less. I guess my focus is in the right place. On my own healing. Second story, this all went down last year. My ex-wife and I were together for 18 years, married for 11, and we have 2 kids, aged 7 and 12. The lockdown put her in a tough spot because her life changed drastically. She's an outgoing person who loved engaging in outdoor activities like acting lessons, dance classes, and hanging out with friends. It was essential for her to recharge her social battery by being around people. On the other hand, I'm the complete opposite. Being around people drains my social battery. We had a good balance before all this happened. She had her activities, and I had my gaming nights. And on weekends, we'd socialize and have a great time. Everything was going fine until the lockdown hit. Suddenly, there were no more acting lessons, no more dance classes, and no more parties. She felt trapped in the house, and with the work-from-home policy in place, she only saw me and the kids for several months. It was a challenging situation when the lockdown restrictions eased up a bit. We were finally able to see other people again. We ended up helping a friend move out, and that's when she encountered an acquaintance who sparked something within her. I think she saw a chance to feel free once more. On January 31, 2021, she fell in love with another guy. That's when she began deceiving me. She invited her new love interest, and the friend we helped move for a dinner. And while I was busy chatting with our friend, she was in another room making out with him. She continued to invite him over for game nights, always with another friend present, so that I wouldn't suspect a thing. This went on for a while until unexpectedly, in April, she dropped a bombshell on me. She confessed that she no longer loved me in a romantic way. Although she still cared about me deeply, I was still her best friend. Her first love and the father of her children, but the romantic spark was gone. I suggested that we see a therapist together to work things out, and I even offered to move out and find a place to rent while we tried to fix our relationship. Surprisingly, she agreed to it. 2 weeks later, while we were on a short vacation with her family, her mother, stepfather, brother, sister, and others, I stumbled upon the truth. It happened late at night when her phone received a notification, and the bright light bothered me. So I picked up her phone to make it go away. It was a WhatsApp message from someone named Sheila. The message said, "Good night, my love," in response to a selfie of my wife saying, "Good night, I love you." I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I scrolled through a few more messages thinking it must be some mistake, but then I came across a selfie of Sheila with that man. There were numerous pictures of them together, accompanied by a bunch of heart emojis. In that moment, my heart skipped a beat. I was in shock. What the hell was happening? A few seconds later, she woke up and panicked when she realized her phone was missing. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I told her that I had seen the messages, that I knew she was cheating on me. She started crying, and I tried to comfort her. I still couldn't wrap my head around what I had discovered. She was the one who did wrong, yet she seemed so devastated. I felt the need to do something. We talked for a little while, and I advised her to act like nothing had happened, at least until we returned home away from the kids. Monday rolled around, and we headed back home. The kids were still with us, so we couldn't discuss the matter openly. However, I had access to her Google account, so I decided to check her travel history. It turned out she had been spending almost every lunch break with him in a park. On our youngest child's birthday, she spent the afternoon with him at a spa. Even though she had told me she couldn't take the day off, she also spent nights with him when she claimed to be with a friend. The lies piled up. She wanted me out of our house so that he could move in. I discovered bits and pieces of their conversations where he showed her plans for their future house, discussing things like bedrooms for the kids and furniture choices. I was furious. I wanted to know the whole truth, so I resorted to blackmailing her. I gave her an ultimatum. Either she showed me the WhatsApp messages and confessed everything, or I would publicly announce on Facebook, tagging all our mutual friends that she was leaving because she cheated on me with this guy. She knew I meant it, so she finally showed me the messages and came clean. I didn't kick her out of the house completely, but I made it clear that she couldn't stay in our bedroom anymore. After I regained my composure, we had a serious talk. I expressed that I wanted her to leave the house as soon as possible, but at the same time, we couldn't reveal the truth to the boys just yet. Our oldest child had important tests at school approaching, and I knew that if he found out, it would devastate him and potentially ruin his academic year. These tests were crucial for his admission to a junior high school. So she started spending your nights in our spare bedroom and would wake up early to be ready to wake up the kids every morning, making sure they didn't realize that we weren't sharing a room anymore. On July 1st, she moved out of the house to rent a place while the kids were at summer camp. We told the kids about our separation when they've returned, and since then, they spent 1 week with me and 1 week with her, and her new partner were at peace now. There's no war between us. I hate all the lies, but I can't blame her for falling in love. We're still friends, but I can't fully trust her anymore. I can't say I'm completely fine, but I'm mostly okay. I have great friends around me, and I love my kids who love me back. I'm still single, but I feel ready to meet someone new. As for her, it seems like things aren't going as smoothly. However, as long as the kids are okay, it's not my concern. That's pretty much the update. I don't think I've left out much. Anyway, I needed to get this off my chest. Thanks for listening. I just wanted to share an update because this week has been one of the best weeks of my life. I received the divorce papers on Monday, and they will be signed by the end of the month. On Wednesday, I cooked a meal and sent pictures to some friends, including a new friend in my circle. She commented on how good it looked. As a joke, well, kind of, I invited her over to eat with me. I have a crush on her, but she's much younger. So I thought we would just remain friends. However, she actually came over and we had a meal together. The conversation flowed so naturally and everything just clicked between us. It felt like we were in the right place at the right time. She even stayed the night with me. We talked, cuddled, talked some more, and even managed to get a little sleep. She came back again, and being with her feels so right. She feels the same way too. It's just a natural connection we have. I feel incredibly happy and content. I never thought I would experience this level of happiness in my life, but here I am. Soon, I'll officially be single, but I'm already in a relationship with an amazing person. There is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. The journey may be long or short, but one thing is certain, there is hope. Edit. She works for one of my clients, and her office is within walking distance of mine, so we met there. And there was a connection. However, she's younger, and I have younger colleagues, so I didn't think I stood a chance. Plus, it seemed like she was interested in one of my colleagues. Anyway, we usually have drinks to celebrate birthdays. And on that particular Friday, we had one. She was invited because she's friends with some girls in my office. We engaged in small talk, but there was something about our conversation. I can't quite explain it. Then in late March, there was another birthday and I invited her over. I cooked some delicious snacks, and she really enjoyed them. Later, I sent her a picture of the snacks and mentioned that I would bring some for the next gathering. She responded by saying it was a shame we had to wait that long. As a joke, or maybe not entirely, I suggested that if she came to my house that evening, we could eat together. She thought about it for 10 minutes and then asked for my home address. She came over that evening and we had a great time talking and eating. We felt so comfortable in each other's company. I held her hand and she allowed it. Encouraged by her response, I went in for a kiss and she kissed me back. We stayed up late into the night, talking, dancing, and laughing. She asked if she could sleep with me instead of in the spare bedroom. So we went to bed, talking, and cuddling. We didn't get much sleep that night, but it was incredible. She came back the next evening and spent the night again. I won't be able to see her much this upcoming week because I have my boys, but I'm sure we'll find a reason to connect at work. Maybe she'll even call me. I'm in my early 40s, very early, actually, and she's in her mid-20s. My kids are 8 and 12 years old. The age gap between us is bigger than the one between her and my oldest child. However, she's incredibly mature. And in my mind, I still feel young, so it feels like we're around the same age, more or less. Third story. This is my first time posting, but I've been quietly observing since everything fell apart. So it's still pretty fresh. I was married to my wife for 5 years, and we've been together for 13. I discovered her cheating during the first week of May. The direct messages I found revealed the whole picture, and it still stings just thinking about it. She started talking to this guy at the beginning of March. And towards the end of March, I started noticing changes. She began posting more selfies on social media, going to the same club or bar frequently, and that's where she met this guy. At first, she would go with her girlfriends, mom, and sisters, so I didn't think much of it. But once she started planning outings to this place, which wasn't typical of her, I knew something was off. I tried to randomly check her phone, but she had complex password. All the warning signs were there. Anyway, a week before I caught her, I confronted her about the growing distance between us. I'm sure many of you know how cheaters behave. She responded by saying she thinks we should separate because we're too different and all that. So I agreed and told her that if she wants to separate, she needs to leave. We agreed that I would give her time to find a place since I've always been the provider. We have an 11-year-old son, and she chose not to work for a long time. Fast forward a week, I discovered the direct messages and confronted her through text. All she said was that she's coming to collect her things while I'm at work. So she moved in with her sister without a job or any money. We did agree that regardless of the situation, we would share custody of our son, $5,050. On May 4th, I discovered her betrayal. We had absolutely no communication for the first 2 weeks. Even her own sister and mom were disgusted with her actions and tried to support me through this difficult time. I couldn't sleep or eat properly. Running my own company, I've had to put in every ounce of energy to keep things going amidst this chaos. It sickens me to know that she threw everything away for a guy she met at the club, disregarding the impact on our son for her own selfish desires. I may not have been a perfect husband, but I have always provided for our family faithfully. And to make matters worse, she started spreading lies on social media claiming that we had been separated for a long time, going through a divorce, and that she had met someone else. Thankfully, those close to me know the truth. I initiated the divorce process through mediation because until now, we have agreed on most things, but I'm certain that will change. It's been a month of pure misery and absolutely no contact. I made a conscious effort to avoid anything related to her and her so-called new life. Slowly, I started to regain my composure and find glimpses of hope for the future, even if they were just fleeting moments. Then out of that blue, she sends me a text apologizing for the first time and admitting her wrongdoing. I chose to ignore it and decided not to respond unless it was about our son or the divorce. But the next day, she bombards me with more apologies, saying she wants to talk and begging for forgiveness. I received about 100 voice texts and messages, all pleading for me to take her back and claiming she was blinded by her mistakes. It turns out she got a DUI a few nights prior. And now that I'm not there to hold her hand, her world is falling apart. I always believed in karma and that it would catch up to her, but I never expected it to happen so quickly. For a brief moment, I felt a small victory after the incredibly tough month I just went through. However, that feeling didn't last long. And now all the progress I had made in the past week has been reset. I'm trying to stay strong, but there's a little voice in the back of my mind tempting me to see if she's willing to change. Deep down, I know it's just her desperate attempt to hold on. This ongoing situation is exhausting. She keeps promising that she'll prove she can be a better person, but honestly, I was better off when she was busy living her supposedly amazing new life. I just went back and read what I wrote, and I realized I missed a few important details. When I discovered the direct messages, I found out that she had been sleeping with this guy for at least 3 weeks before she even mentioned wanting a separation. She would make up excuses like going to the store or visiting her sister's house, but she was actually going to see him during that time. While I would take my son to practice and hit the gym as my usual routine after work, she would use that opportunity to sneak around and meet him. And that's only what I know because they communicated through Snapchat and Instagram, where messages disappear, so who knows how many other times she lied using those platforms. Additionally, when she first brought up the idea of separating or getting a divorce, she said she didn't want anything from the house, just a fair 50-50 arrangement with our son. However, the day before I discovered the DMs, I reiterated through texts that we couldn't live together and had to be separated. She blew up and claimed that this was her home and that she wouldn't leave. She even said that if anyone needed to go, it should be me. It's funny how she must have read something on Instagram or somewhere and got the wrong idea. Thankfully, the next day, I found her old phone and was able to log into her social media accounts because she uses the same password for everything. Can't even imagine the kind of hell she would have put me through if I didn't have solid evidence. Thank goodness I found it.